The dentist. I hate the dentist. I was one of those kids growing up that did not brush his teeth enough, did not floss. I lied about all of the things when I was asked if I had done those things. Yeah, I was the kid that had to be sniff checked and failed. I don't know why. I loved candy and I hated brushing my teeth, and that leads to cavities and mouth problems, and alas I did have. And when I was filling out my admission paperwork and realized that I had to go and get a dental examination, I was afraid that something was going to pop up. Luckily I didn't have any cavities at the time, but part of it, and it's specifically outlined in the paperwork, is making sure that your wisdom teeth are in good repair and won't cause any issues for the time while you're out on your mission. And when dentists read that, they go, oh, so specifically we're going to take a look at your wisdom teeth and see if there's any problems. And I think most people have this experience filling out your mission paperwork. The dentist always sees a red flag with your wisdom teeth because it's the perfect opportunity to go, hey, looks like they're coming in a little wonky. Let's pull them out just to be safe. At the time, I did not have any dental coverage. I was no longer eligible underneath my parents' work coverage. Didn't have a job with coverage, so I was on the hook for $400 a tooth, and I got flagged for my 2 bottom wisdom teeth to get pulled. And I went in to this wisdom tooth experience expecting it to be like America's Funniest Home Videos or something. When they show the videos of the kids that are on the laughing gas or whatever, and they're just coming out of their drug-induced comatose, and they're all like, what are you doing? My mouth. It's like a video of my wife who was lucky enough to get the funny stuff, and she's all like telling random stories and because that's how you sound when you have these 2 craters in your mouth after getting your wisdom teeth out. Nonetheless, if you get all 4 out and you're like, So my wife has a hilarious video. I did not, because for some reason they decided to go cheap on me. And their reason I'm afraid of the dentist is there's many cavities I had growing up and issues. I had to get spacers at my bottom teeth for a long time because my molars kind of grew in weird. There wasn't enough space. And I remember I had them in for years. They didn't even get taken up by the dentist. I remember one day I was sitting in class and I was just with my tongue just going at this little spacer. And if for those of you that don't know, a spacer's it's like a little metal bracket that goes around one solid tooth, and then it helps to space the next tooth goes through it. It's the spacer. It's just so the teeth grow in with enough space. So, and it's glued in with cement, the dental cement or whatever. And I remember it was starting to come a little loose because I've been in my mouth for probably 2 years at this point, and I was just tonguing at it in class one day, and I was really wiggling, and I took the end of a ruler or something, and I'm sitting in class and I'm just prying this thing out of my tooth, just and I got it out and I pulled it out. I'm like, yeah! I was so excited, and I was like, oh. And the other side, start going at it. And in one class at school, I think I pulled up both of my dental spacers. I went home, and for some reason I think I held on to them, but I went home that day and I was all trying to keep it hidden from my parents, but I'm also kind of showing it off because I'm proud. And I told my mom, and she's like, what's wrong with you? She's all mad at me. And then she told the dentist, she called, and they're like, it's probably fine, it's been long enough now. So I don't know how long I was supposed to have those things in my freaking mouth, but I had them in forever. Another story, when I was really little, maybe 5 or 6 or 7, but I was with my mom, and we were out at a park or somewhere to eat, and we were sitting at some benches and we were eating, and I was just like hunched over my food, really focusing on eating, and I was like sticking like the french fries in my mouth and like moving it to one side of my mouth and like chewing really carefully, and like almost like pulling my other side to keep it away from my teeth as I chew. My mom noticed me eating really weird, and she goes, "Hey, like, what are you doing there? Why are you eating like that?" And I look up at her, and in a way that only a kid could, I said it so like bluntly and matter-of-factly. I was like, "Mom, I have a frog egg in my mouth, so I'm just being careful, just eating on this side of my mouth." And she's like, "A what? A frog egg? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?" And I said, "Yeah, Mom, like a frog egg. Look." And I open up my mouth, and I turn it to her so you can see the inside of my cheek, and I'm like, "Hey, a frog egg right here." See? I'm poking it with my finger. And my mom goes, "Oh!" And what she saw was a large abscessed sac on the inner part of my cheek, fully infected, right beside a broken, like a partially broken chipped molar. So I had chipped my molar at some point, probably weeks before this, or at least many days. And it got infected, and the infection spread into my cheek, and it was now a pus-filled, greeny red abscess in my mouth. Disgusting. So my mom freaked out, called the dentist, and immediately rushed me to the dentist, and they performed dental surgery. And I remember I have blanks in my memory as a little child of like my dentist and like 2 or 3 assistants hovering over, just peeling at my mouth, taking all the infection out and everything, helping me out. But as a kid, I'm like, ah! I have a bad experience with the dentist. Now I'm going to be getting my wisdom teeth out, and I have to again lie down with 2 or 3 people hovering over me, drilling and pulling stuff out of my mouth. Terrifying. I hate the dentist. I hate the smell, the lighting, the ambience of drills and the suction. Like, I can't stand anything about the dentist. Bad vibes, bad times. I don't like it. And like, I have a good like pain tolerance and stuff. Like, even as a kid, like crazy that I had this huge abscess on my mouth, and I was just kind of like, whatever, frog eggs. Like, I'm strong, I just don't like it. Like a hospital, man. The smell, the sounds, the moaning of some people, the moaning and groaning, the pain, sickly grossness. I would prefer to never go to any of them again. That's why I brush my teeth, I floss, I keep them in good repair, because I do not want to go to the dentist. It's not good. But anyway, I have to get my 2 bottom wisdom teeth out now. And I go, and I remember I get there, I'm laying down on the chair, and my dentist's like, "Okay, I'm going to get some assistants to come help me." And they cart in all the tools, the drills, all the little picks and stuff. And on one of the trays was 4 syringes of freezing, or Novocaine, or whatever they use now. And I hate the smell of that. The sweet, nauseating smell of Novocaine when they freeze your mouth. But I asked him, I was like, "Hey, so are you gonna put me on the laughing gas? Are you gonna give me the good stuff?" And he's like, "No, it's just your bottom 2 teeth. Like, it's pretty straightforward. We'll just freeze you up real good, drill them and pop them out. Shouldn't take longer than 45 minutes." And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" Like, I don't want to be awake for that. Can I be high, basically? And he's like, No, you're fine. Like, basically, like, trying to save me $1. It's like, I'm already here, $400 a tooth. Throw in the $300 high gas. Like, I got... Anyway, I was like, okay, you're the dentist. So, they start by freezing me, right? And they're aiming to freeze just the lower part of my jaw, where my 2 lower wisdom teeth are. And they gave me the freezing. And I remember as they started the procedure, they started drilling and picking away. I realized that from the right side of my mouth going towards my tongue and my lower palate, everything was just starting to freeze. Which, with the amount of freezing that they gave me, I'm not surprised, but it felt like it was coming from the right side and it really like freezing just my tongue. Like the freezing was missing the mark, basically. Because where my wisdom tooth was, like the gum and stuff, it still felt like there was some sensation, but down here was dead. Like my tongue was asleep. Because he's asking me, he's like, "Do you feel like you're pretty frozen?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, oh, oh." Like it just felt like a piece of steak was sitting in my mouth where my tongue was supposed to be. And yeah, they get started and they start drilling, and they started on the right side, so the problem side. And immediately after they finished drilling and started like hammering with like a chisel basically to break the bone in the tooth to pull out, I'm like feeling every hammer like laying there, tears welling up in my eyes. I'm getting the condensation-y kind of sweat, and I know my face is red. It feels hot. And my dentist is like, "Cameron, are you okay? Can you feel this right now?" I'm like, no, that's fine. You got like." So I was like, "Just go, keep going." And that was the longest 30 minutes of my life, at least on the right side. The right side was horrendous. Like when he finally said, "Okay, the right side tooth is done," yay! And then he starts on the left side, and the left side was a breeze. Still, the crunching, yucky sound of things being extracted from your cranium is awful and unpleasant, but at least I didn't feel it, like the physical stinging pain of it. It got it all done, and then, after you get your wisdom teeth out, not only are your teeth gone, but there's holes now in your face, and you puff up like a chipmunk, and then for the next couple weeks it's nothing but soap, and when you're brushing your teeth it's just pulling out gauze, bloody gauze, the smell of blood, old congealed blood in your mouth. It's just disgusting, so yucky. And the antibiotics that make your stomach feel bad, so you're just like brushing your teeth, and then you're just shotgunning the toilet because your stomach's all out of whack, and then you're eating broccoli soup, which makes nothing great. And I had just started a new job around that time, so I'm like, "Hey, I'm Cameron," one day, and then the next week I'm like, "Hi, I'm Cameron." And I have my big cheeks, and I just look bad. So yeah, that was the dentist portion of the experience. So $900 and 2 holes in my mouth later, I had gotten a check on my mission paperwork.
Let's go, boys!